It's your girl Mercedes. What up, Sadie's gang? The gang, you feel me? Damn, like I didn't even gonna lie to y'all. These last couple days have been pretty wild. Been going through a lot. Your girl going through some shit, going through the motions. You feel me? Shoot. Now, I'm not sure exactly if anybody had heard about this, but apparently Chris Massey and Symone came out with like a whole entire video of their truth and exposing kind of their side on some of Dan Schneider's accusations and some of these stories that are being told. I don't really know what to say exactly about these two. I know with Symone, I was a big fan of her, and then I kind of seen her go left. But then Chris Massey was like, after Zoe 101 shut down, that was kind of it. I didn't really see him in any other movies or any other shows, whatever. So I hope y'all like the video, subscribe, share. You know, if you want to show some love, show some love. You don't want to, that's all good. It's about a 24-minute video, so let's get into it.
Raven used to always have a crush on Janet Jackson, even when she was, even before she ever came out. As a kid, I didn't know what that meant, but then I was like, hold up, actually, she's... Janet Jackson, if you ever see this, Raven had a whole poster of you.
Janet knows. Janet knows. Janet knows.
Hooked up with my fucking water bottle.
Today is a little bit different. We're actually not going to go into the pot. You reached out to us.
Janet Jackson.
Cool. We like come spill the tea on tea time. So we're actually going to be talking about a documentary that recently came out called Quiet on Set.
Can I hear this? I don't know if I can hear this.
Which is also the reason why I thought it would be better for me to have.
Oh, but there's an echo on y'all.
Especially with Raven, she's experienced being a child star. I know what it's like being on a Nickelodeon sitcom. In this particular case, I haven't watched the documentary. I will let that be known.
We watched it. We did. And for anyone out there who hasn't seen it, Quiet on Set is about Nickelodeon shows under the reign of, let's say, Dan Schneider. Yes. And there was a lot of
toxicity behind the scenes and some hiring of pedophiles.
Yeah, most specifically within this documentary, Drake Bell.
Brian Peck.
Were talking about the
You a bitch. Straight up.
It's very unfortunate what happened
Jacob?
to, even like Drake Bell, because that's someone that I know personally, not just on a meet and first name basis, but like we've traveled the world, we've done humanitarian work together, we've fed children in Nicaragua and Peru together, like we've done a lot of things. So even for me to hear that was shocking. They'll blame people or try to victimize people for coming out late, but a lot of times you don't know what those people are dealing with or how it weighs on them.
Okay, let's start from the beginning.
That part I don't understand. How you gonna sit here and victimize somebody for waiting to tell their truth or tell their story? If it's like, if you haven't been in that spot, don't try to sit here and force yourself to be in that spot. If you can't understand what that person went through or what they got going on, just be there and support. Like, I don't know why there's even any type of hate, especially on this type of topic. Like, I don't get that.
You were hired as what character on Zoe 101?
I played Michael Barrett on Zoe 101. We had a lot of fun. I mean, we were kids. When I auditioned, I think I was 13. I think when I got the role, and I think I was 14 on the first season. And what's really funny is I actually found out that I booked the role on the set of That's So Raven.
Yeah, because his brother plays my brother.
What? Oh, yeah, Kyle Massey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was walking through the halls of That's So Raven, and my mom was like, "You got Zoe 101, we got it." I'm like, "All right, cool."
So when you're on Zoe 101, were parents around and were they allowed to be on set? Because that was one of the things that the documentary touches on, that parents weren't allowed around.
For us, my mom, my dad, they were on set. No matter what. It's a really touchy subject that people should understand that.
Isn't that a law? Like, by law, parents have to be on set when it comes to their kids. Like, they are minors. I figure that's a law. Like, I know if I was one of these actors or actresses, whatever, I know my mom and dad would be on that set watching me every single second. Like, tomorrow ain't promised. So, shoot. I love their teacups, too.
With being on a set, your mom and dad have full authority to be on set.
I know your parents and you know mine.
Yeah.
And there are some parents that are so mesmerized by the glitz and glamour.
Yep.
This person's going to take care of my kid. And,
Mhm.
and then there are other families and cultures
Yep.
that say, if you touch my kid, I'm killing you.
Yep.
So I'm going to be underneath them all day long.
And that's what I was going to say, that there are
That's my mom and dad. Literally. They're both Caribbean. They don't play that shit. You come anywhere near around me or my 7 brothers or 2 sisters, and that's your ass. Straight up. But I feel like, honestly, I'm not going to say that's every parent, but at least I know those are my parents. They don't play that shit. So.
are people who I think when their kids book roles, they all of a sudden kind of jump into a different tax bracket, and then you're around professionals, right? Like, not all parents understand the industry, so they come into it just as green as their young child who just booked this role.
Most of the kids that were on shows that I was on Nickelodeon or Disney, they know my parents. I know their parents. I know Raven's mom, dad, just like she knows my mom and dad. Jamie Lynn's mom or dad was on set every day. I know what Victoria's mom and dad look like. I know what Sean Flynn's mom and dad look like. If you go back and watch, I do this all the time. I watch That's So Raven with my kids. You'll hear my mom laughing. You'll hear my dad laughing. You'll hear her mom laughing.
Yeah.
Like, I can hear, I know their laughs. And I'm like, oh, that's my mom. Oh, that's Miss Lydia. That's how close they were on set. And I'll explain this for the people at home that don't know how this works, right? So I'm gonna give you a very simple day-to-day as a kid being on set, right? You get there, it might be 7 in the morning, right? That's your call time. Your mom and dad, you come in with your mom and dad, they say, hey, look, what do you want for breakfast? You gotta go to school. You're in your studies. Say you work, do school.
It's the fact that they had them doing school at the same time as they're working.
And they say, hey, look, we need you in hair and makeup.
I know I wouldn't have graduated. Would have failed. Would have straight up failed. No, I'm just playing. I'm smart as fuck.
On our set, which was kind of the same way with
It's an unspoken rule. It's not a real rule. It's unspoken.
yeah, but what they would do is the person who would say, hey, you got to go to hair and makeup. The same person, his name was Tim, he would come in, he would say, we need you to hair and makeup, and then you got to go to set. Right after he would get me from the school trailer, he would go to my trailer, tell my dad, hey, Chris is going to set. Obviously, some parents are more hands-on than
Yes.
others. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We definitely have worked with people whose parents did not
We're
bring
not.
them to set. We've worked
Exactly.
with those people.
Yeah, where's he going?
Wow.
Where's he about to be? I'm with him.
You know, one thing that really irks me is that child actors and children in entertainment aren't protected under federal laws.
Yep.
And which is absolutely crazy. You know, it says there's no federal law protecting child actors. Yes, in 1938, Congress passed the FLSA labor law, a labor law that established a minimum wage for children, including age standards, hours, and wages. However, this was only for industries in agriculture and manufacturing. But the one industry that is exempt from adhering to the FLSA was entertainment. As a result, each state is left to decide which labor laws they wish to enact, if any. I do believe with what we went through, there does need to be a standard across the board.
There should have already been one. That's crazy.
What needs to happen for us. And at the same time, I will say thank you for all the teachers that keep up great laws for us.
Absolutely.
And keep it. And there's many teachers inside of the teacher union that are working to create a standard of work environment for the child.
And then there are 17 states which have 0 laws. So, for example, if a production...
Am I surprised? Am I surprised? No, I'm not. That's just the industry. They're wicked. They're slick. They're evil. I don't want to be nowhere near the industry, to be honest. Y'all some... If anything, if y'all the devil's advocate, for real, for real. That's just what it is. There should have been laws to protect these children. I know if I had a kid, or kids, whatever, and they go in the industry, best believe I'm on that ass. I'm on that ass. Let me find out anything happened to my child. Boy. Boy.
Potentially fly their production out
To
to, let's
that
say,
location.
Mississippi, Montana, Nevada, where there is no regulation for children, and then work.
And a
but
lot
wow.
and I will say to
This is sad.
the industry, they don't really fly us to those random states that have no,
Yeah, not too much.
not too much.
Yeah.
And at the same time, just in case. Just in case
Absolutely.
you find that one production that wants to skirt, put us under federal law
Yeah.
and make it safe for everyone.
Yeah. I mean,
Point blank,
because I have
period.
Really a amazing teacher on my set, Miss Patty Foy, who I love you to death. She was
Miss Patty Foy. You know, she sounded like a chill teacher too. She sounded nice, just by the name. You know when a teacher is a bitch and when she's actually nice, just even based off the name itself. I wouldn't say don't judge too quick now, but you know, majority of the time, I'm gonna have to do a story time for y'all because I got some stories, man.
the teachers, and it's funny because I'm so glad we mentioned that because not only was my mom and dad on set, but my teacher, Miss Patty Foy, she would be on it. The teacher on the set has like the highest authority. Like, people don't know that when you're on a kid set, your teacher can come and pull you off.
Matter of fact, bro, oh my gosh, I don't think I can just let this topic slide and not say who the teachers were. No. If I tell y'all, then I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble. Oh, okay, there's one teacher named Miss V. Somebody, I had a math teacher I had back in elementary school that I did not fuck with. And then there was another teacher that was like my main teacher back in like 6th grade when I had moved away. And we're gonna call her Miss M. Like I said, that's another story for another day. But I'm gonna do a story time on that. Goodness.
Yeah.
Or he can just
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
teachers have a lot of power,
Yeah,
and
they
not
do.
and some of them use it.
More
Yeah,
recognition.
some
Some
do,
of them
and
don't.
some just play the role and sit back.
Exactly.
But Miss Foy, she would come there and she would talk to them. She'd say, "Hey, listen, he's got stuff he's got to do right now. He has to go." They would hate it, but at the end of the day, school comes first.
Yeah.
I think that it's worth noting that a set is a very weird little bubble because especially if you do more than one season, you're in this kind of intense pressure cooker of an environment with people where you get to know each other. It feels kind of familial, and I think that it could be easy potentially for a parent to maybe step back, especially when I think kids start getting to the 15, 16
So that's
area.
Yeah.
another thing, right? Let's also talk about how you have young people accumulating thousands of dollars. Sometimes kids are making more money than their parents.
Yeah.
So then you have to kind of dive into the psyche of
Most of the time. Sorry.
most of the time. But then you have like people like
David
Henry. They were like, "Hey, you driving up and anyway, love you, David."
They brought up David Henry. Oh my gosh, I gotta watch Wizards of Waverly Place again.
And
That was my
you have to make things work because it then becomes your livelihood. Could only be, for lack of a better word, of mine.
And again, if you don't have the education, if you are a green parent to this and you're kind of like, okay, I just want to facilitate, and then you have other adults saying like, oh, don't worry about it, or you know,
It's weird. I do want to kind of bring it to that weird section because looking at the documentary, one thing that I saw, and please comment in
yeah, comment in the comments.
With your opinion.
Or you know what? Don't comment in the comments. Comment somewhere else.
comment somewhere else. But please tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. But it really did feel like Dan Schneider was kind of dismissive of his male black characters.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. I seen it throughout the documentary itself. Shoot, even when I was watching his shows as a kid, like I knew. Yeah, let's take it there. Yeah, because he was very dismissive about the black males. You watch the documentary, you can literally see that 100%. It doesn't change. So I caught on to that very quickly.
It's like you were on the one all-black show with the one white cast member, and I was on the all-white cast member, and I was the only black one.
Brothers were happy.
It's like you guys had Chelsea and they had me. You know, I thoroughly enjoyed being on set. I never felt excluded. He did a really good job of making it like friends for teenagers. That's kind of what our show was, right? It was like we're always sitting around a big table, we're all eating together, we're all like hanging out together. When I see that people say like even the thing like toxic work environment, you know, I'm not here to defend anyone. You know, I'm just here to say what my truth is.
Yeah.
Right?
Did you witness toxic?
I believe that we grew up in a way, right, where certain people can get upset or angry or lash out sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But for me,
It's not toxic.
it's not toxic. It's like
Yeah.
it's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know what I mean. Like,
For those who know what we talk about.
I'm I'll give you
I mean, I kind of understand what they're trying to say, or what he's trying to say. In a way, what he's trying to say is like, oh, it wasn't toxic for us, but for the folks that were kind of dismissed or thrown off to the side or just chosen not to be like, I'm not going to say special, or I don't know, but all I know is that there was this group of people that got the leverage and certain benefits and didn't see no toxicity, and then there's these certain group of people that went through hell, like straight up went through hell. So I kind of understand it.
He was a Marine, and he was very strict, very stern, but he was loving, fun.
Love me some Mike Massey.
Yeah, everyone loves my dad. Fun person to be around, but he was very stern and strict with us. So for me, when someone would say, "Hey, you gotta get your shit together. Let's go. We gotta go." For me, it was okay. Let me learn my lines. Let me focus. Let's get this moving because we got we're on a schedule. And you have to understand too, when you're dealing with kids, okay, you're dealing with kids who are all the same age. Mm-hmm. We're all like have girlfriends, or we're all like puberty.
Yeah.
We're flirting with each other. We're telling jokes, and we're doing all these things. It's sometimes you can lose track of this is work. Right?
Right.
You on set, and you're laughing and joking while they're like trying to block and they're trying to light, and they're like, "Hey, look, we're losing sunlight." Because you got to think, my show filmed outside as well, so it's like when you're losing sunlight, they're like, "We can't film this tomorrow." You know what I'm saying? So for me, yeah, I've witnessed him be upset when things were going wrong, but so does every boss, so does every manager. You know what I mean? Like, if we're gonna say that someone yelling is a toxic environment, you have to look at all sports. All coaches.
That's very toxic.
Boy, when I tell you, this was a part of the reason why I left basketball for good. The environment on each team that I was on. I mean, I done traveled outside the state and played. I done traveled over to the other side of town and played. I done played at all types of schools. I've also played for elite teams, all that. I've seen how toxic it can get. It is very, very bad. Even on the guys' team, too. Like, I witnessed friends, guy friends, exes that have played, that are good players, and this and that and the fourth, and yet they don't get put out there. And when they do, the coach is so quick to curse them out and yell at them and tell them, say stupid things and call them names. It was the same situation with basketball and the females. There was always gossip, bullying. It was a toxic-ass environment, and it wasn't fun no more. So, I'm sorry. It's bullshit. Sports is bullshit. I love it, but it's bullshit and toxic as fuck.
I want to hold. I wish for the bathroom cleaning now.
Jesus, really?
Go to the bathroom.
And if anybody want to give their opinion, you better have played sports your whole entire life first before you even thinking about coming to argue with me. I've been playing since I was 5 years old, 6 years old. I know. So, yeah, nigga. Fuck that, I'm good. Taking away my peace.
Totally understand what you're saying, and I agree. I grew up in a household where aggressive words were not to bring you down, but to build you up.
Me too.
What I think the documentary is showing the toxicity is the fact that he was asking for massages from people. He was not creating, a safe environment for an actor under the age of 18 to voice their concerns. He was bulldozing ideas of women in the writers.
He was really terrible to his two female staff writers. It was an abuse of power. And I think that and there was a director, an all-back director, who was talking about how there was a palpable difference between Dan and on the set, and an energy shift. And granted, you know what I mean? Like, some people are going to be more sensitive to that. Some people are going to have more awareness. I'm not saying that, like, you didn't have the experience you had at all, but I think that the people who were coming forward clearly had really negative encounters and felt very unsafe. And across the board, regardless of how you were raised, when we're at work, the hope is everyone feels safe. They were talking about all that segment that was kind of like a truth or dare, where these kids were being required to do really uncomfortable things that they didn't like, as far as like one of the boys had said.
I remember they said that in the documentary. They said that it was pretty much almost like Fear Factor, which me personally, I think that's kind of inappropriate for kids, especially after seeing what they made them do in the documentary. It was just kind of disgusting. So for them to even try to compare or try to make a Truth or Dare show alike with Fear Factor, and mind you, these are kids, it's just disgusting as fuck to me.
Get into a nude colored suit and be covered in peanut butter and licked by dogs. These are probably kind of sexual.
Yeah.
That we're making it fun and playful because it's kids. They were just, it was always kind of on the borderline. And I think that when we look at it today versus what it was then, people were a lot more tolerant then than they are now.
And that's just the way society goes with television. If you go back to the beginning of television, you could not do the things that you can't do them now. There was a character on her show, she was looking back at her career on that show, and she said that over-sexualizing a young girl of that age made her very uncomfortable in her
And
life.
also, it's worth being said too that like a young girl's experience is going to be very different than a young boy's
100%.
experience.
For the fans, it hurts me for them because like I get so many people who come at me like, or I'll see the comments and they're like, "This ruined my childhood. My childhood's ruined because."
Yes, yeah, yep. As soon as I finished that documentary, like it was hard for me to watch it already as it was because I understand what that situation is like, but it like I don't know what happened, but it just like completely ruined my whole entire childhood. Like to hear that this actually happened, I'm not shocked because I don't know her name, but it's Sam Puckett from iCarly. She even came out and wrote a whole book about everything like 4 years back, and I don't think anybody was really like paying attention to what she was saying or what it was that she exactly wanted to put out there. So I'm not surprised, but I am surprised. So.
Welcome. When I was gay, when I came out as gay, I ruined everybody's childhood.
She didn't ruin mine.
Right?
I still love Raven Symone.
Having these conversations is really important, and I really commend all of the people who were brave enough to come forward and say, this was my truth. And also, I mean, I think it's worth acknowledging too, a lot of wonderful experience comes from this career.
Yeah.
And you meet a lot of amazing people, and there are a lot of fantastic people on set.
Friendships for life.
You create friendships for life. That family can be super strong, but with every good, there is some bad.
I don't think we would have been able to have this kind of conversation years ago.
Hold on. What the fuck did I just see? Hold on. Okay, so we're looking at a dragon. We're looking at an alien head. And for the longest, I was trying to figure out where Raven Symone cup was. I really must be like blind or something. But she's drinking out of a toilet cup. A golden toilet cup. I don't know how to feel about that.
We would have been able to have this kind of conversation years ago. Because of the hashtag #MeToo movement and hashtag #FreeToo movement, I think we've been able to really put it out there.
What's the hashtag #MeToo?
Put it out there. Me too. Men go for stuff too.
Yeah,
They do. They do.
I can say, like, when I was younger, under the age of 18, like, there were women that were older than me that I was, having interactions with that probably should not have happened. Because I was a kid, I did not understand.
Ain't no way. Wow. Okay.
Oh, this girl wants me. But then you realize when you get older, it's like, for men, they look at it as more of like a trophy.
Yeah.
It's more of a cool thing. Or if you come forward and say, this woman touched me inappropriately when I was 14, 15, or one.
You're gonna get bashed for it.
Then it's like, well, why are you gonna tell on her? She wanted to, But then when you get older, you realize like, well, it was kind of like not cool.
It wasn't okay. Like what? I don't.
People like Drake girls can speak out and
Absolutely.
validate it and understand what's going on.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the fact that you are a father, because I just want to let everybody know where you are now and how
I didn't know that.
it's going, and if you
Boy, I got a child.
have issues because of your experience.
What do you call it?
I do have
Reproduction.
children. I love them to death. And there was a time where
You watch Grease too, you'll know what I'm talking about.
To get them out there, to put
That
them
was
on.
going to be my question to both of you.
Yeah, and so, at first it was kind of like, okay, cool, like, oh, yeah, but then you kind of like take a step back and you go like, you know what? I really wanted to be on TV, right? Like I used to watch movies like The Sandlot, all those movies, and I used to be like, I want to do this, like play baseball all day and get paid. Like as a young age, I always wanted to be there. People like Raven and stuff like that. I know I had a conscious choice in saying I wanted to do this, right? Like my kids don't. I'll ask them sometimes. I'm like, when they'll watch, because my daughters all watch Zoe 101 and That's So Raven. They love That's So Raven like crazy. The cool thing is about it is like you ask them sometimes like, oh, would you ever want to do that? Or, you know, and like my daughter Bella, she's like, no, I want to be a rock star.
If I had a kid who was like 3 years old.
She want to be a rock star. That's what she want to be. She want to be a rock star. What does that even mean? I like, can somebody actually send me like a real definition of that? Like, I can't even say what a rock star really is. You're famous? I guess? I don't know.
Showing artistic skill and they were saying, I really want to be on TV. I'd be like, great. The first thing we're going to do is put you into like a little theater camp.
Everyone looks at being on TV and all this as like, you can be famous, you can make a lot of money and all this, right? But no one ever stops to think of the longevity of what happens to this person.
Yeah.
The average person right now could go, you know, God forbid, get a DUI, right?
Orlando Brown.
On Thursday afternoon. By Friday, he's out. Saturday, Sunday, he sleeps it off. Monday, he's back to work, right? No one knows unless you tell your boss or you tell your friend. Me or Raven go get a DUI tonight. Everyone's gonna know before I can even call my mom and tell her what happened.
That's
Once
true.
you put them into this spotlight, it's forever. It's not just
Temporarily, yeah.
on the #1 show. It's not.
Shoot, who did that? Who was it? Oh, Mitchell Musso. Yeah, he apparently, I didn't know what happened to him until like recently, but I heard that at the age of 20, and he was actually on the King of something. You remember him and that one little black boy that was playing like these kings on this island or some shit, whatever. Anyways, he was about 20 years old, and I heard that he had like got in a car and he had been drinking, and he started driving, and then he got a DUI, and after that, like his whole entire career just plummeted. Nobody has heard or seen from Mitchell Musso since. So, yeah, that's pretty much a perfect example of this whole longevity thing he's talking about, like the whole mental stuff.
When you're 12, it's for the rest of your life. Everything that you do, every misstep you take,
Yep.
Most people can live their lives doing these things and learning from them. But when we do it, it's, can you believe they did this?
One of the original cast members of All That said that, you know, her parents got a call from the producer saying she was getting too fat, and she was like, oh my god, and then literally she was like, I was in the middle of puberty, a month later I got my first period, and then I became kind of a woman, and then I was too womanly. And I think that that is also super intense when you are that vulnerable and having commentary on your body, let alone your mishaps like that.
Women, we don't got it, and I feel like with women, we just fucked both ways. No matter what we do or what we say, everybody's gonna go against us. Doesn't matter. It's kind of the same thing with men too, but you know, with women, it's like, yeah, if you getting too big, you hit puberty, you finally turn into a woman, you know what I mean, and you're too womanish or you look too grown. It's like, which one is it? Which one do you want? I hate indecisive ass people.
And people think that their child is going to be different. We all go through the same mental health issue, which is
Are you saying all child
stars go through the same mental health issue. It's a silent underneath layer of I always have to live up to what other people need me to be and see and entertain.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I'm no longer entertaining in front of the television, I don't know if you've experienced this, but when you took your step back, did you feel like you needed to be a life of the party? Did you feel like you needed to live up to the Chris Massey that everybody knows?
There are certain people, right, who grew up in stardom, right? I've been on tour with Raven, having to be ushered through the hallways and screaming girls everywhere and all this, right? But what happens is, in this realm that we're in, some people were not mentally strong enough to accept when their reign is over, right? When their superstardom has now dwindled to, oh, hey, you're the guy from, hey, I used to love that show. When it becomes that, certain people who are addicted to the lights and the action and everything, they can't dial it back and live a normal life.
No.
You're a kid, and your brain is developing.
You can only stay in a spotlight for so long. It ain't about the hardest part ain't getting up there. The hardest part is staying up there. That's the hardest part, is staying relevant if you want to continue down that path.
I'm addicted to that dopamine.
It's
That's
terrible.
real. Like,
Well,
if
there's
you
days when I wake up.
That's why I don't let that shit get to me.
Because of the
do
idea,
that all the
I do it all the time because of the idea of what I was told I should be,
Yeah.
and when I see others that look like me, have bigger careers than me, even though it came faster and went through a slower process, it's taken me almost 38 years to be like, hey, I don't have to necessarily have the same fame as someone.
Yeah.
I can still succeed in this industry. I just have to pivot
Yeah.
every single day. The conversation was, you better keep going, otherwise you're going to work at a place that you don't want to work in and you're going to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And you better be on your shit and do
Yep.
the right thing, because if you do the wrong thing,
Keep
you're
it
going to
going.
get fired
Yeah.
and you're not going to make the money that you like. It was that scare tactic.
It's the keeping you on the train.
what do you do, Mom?
Basically, they was just keeping them on their toes. Straight up, if I'm being realistic. You're just keeping them on their toes.
What do you do, Dad? And telling me that you're my manager, in my mind, is not enough of an answer to make me go, oh, okay, you're right.
Well, that's hard, right? There's a two.
I'm sorry, all the parents hate me right now.
No, there's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It
There's a
is.
sword
It
because
is.
this is what you're supposed to do. I am making sure that you're taken care of.
Yep.
And the other side of it is exactly what you're saying. I was so young to make this decision. What if my life was supposed to be something else, but now I have this brain situation where I'm always going to be here. Some parents.
I didn't look at it like that.
That even as I become an adult, you won't go away and let me live my own life because of this. Some parents disappear fully and not help the child grow mentally to where they can't take care of themselves. Then you see people fall. So there has not been good education on either side of the sword.
Yep.
In order to
100%.
create a safe space. I had a song a long time ago, never released it, but it was Hollywood is thicker than blood. Because at the end of the day,
No, that's
you
a
will
powerful statement.
lose a family member of some kind. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Because
It's-
I'm talking about cousins. Cousins saying, you ain't paying me, you.
I understand. I recently just cut off somebody in my family that I'll probably never talk to again. So, yeah. It's just, that's the journey of it. It's just go through the motions.
Like, I just came to kick it.
Yeah.
No.
Where my money at?
You know what I mean? Like
No,
any
it's
type of
true.
you will always lose a family member of
Yeah.
some kind.
Understood. Yeah.
That's true.
What would you have wanted to be different, if anything? Or what do you think could have been different for those people to prevent some of the negative of working child actor?
You have to protect your child at all times. I'll say this. Someone asked me, it was like, well, you were on a Dan Snyder show. Would you put your kids on a Dan Snyder TV series? And my answer was, if my child experienced the exact same thing that I experienced on the set, I would say yes. But obviously now there's a lot more
Coming
stuff
out.
that's going on.
Yeah.
Be there with your kids to
I'm
make
going
sure
to
that
be
experience
there the
happens.
way my dad was on set. Well,
There are so
And maybe that's the reason why, like, if you guys remember what I said earlier, there's the certain group of people that didn't see no toxicity, enjoyed their time on Nickelodeon, whatever, and then there's those other group of people that just went through straight up hell for it. So, to me, well, no, I can't say that because Drake Bell's dad was also there on set all the time, but he is right, though. Protect your kids at all costs. I know I would for mine, but I want to sit here and say maybe that's the reason why these particular people didn't see no toxicity or didn't go through anything, because their parents were just kind of up their ass and always underneath them and watching them. But like I said, with Drake Bell's dad, it was kind of the same thing until people got in between them, and then things kind of just changed, and well, that's when the horror started to take over. So at this point, I really can't even say the differences from either side. It's just, there was those people that had a good time, and there was those people that had a horrifying time over there and would probably never step foot on Sunset Nickelodeon ever again.
Things in place now that were not in place when we were actually acting. Before every season, every single sitcom, especially with children, there have to be...
My hair does not want to listen to me today.
...meeting through lawyers to explain what quid pro quo is.
Still look good.
Explain what diversity is about. These meetings are brand new. And there's things that you're like, obviously, but obviously that did not happen in Dish. I remember there was a season, the show that I was on with kids, and say what and how. But I remember the parents not coming to set. And I stopped. And I said, I need every parent on this. No, they don't need to be there. It's safe. I said, no. You can be in the stands. You can be sitting down there. You can do whatever you need to. But for a child, knowing their parent is there, if their parent isn't toxic, is safe. Absolutely. And then there's the double-edged sword of your school teacher being a social worker. And there are some amazing school teachers who witness a toxic family environment and help that child get through it. And that's also very important, because let's not forget about toxicity at home and abusive nature at home. Working a child for different reasons than our parent did, and not being taken care of. Shia LaBeouf, the girl from Modern Family. There's so many stories, and it's scary because
Jeanette McCurdy. I mean, that was.
Ooh, yeah, that's her name, Jeanette McCurdy.
They're not safe in general.
It's a big conversation, and I think it's super layered, and clearly it's too big for us to cover and touch on everything today. And it just really goes to you. But I thank you so much for sitting down. We have to toast. We always make it
Yo, Raven, you gotta change your cup, man. This ain't it. I'm sorry. Anyways, y'all, I hope you enjoyed that video. Please like, share, subscribe, turn up, share it, do whatever you gotta do. If you want to show some love, show some love. You don't want to, that's all good. It's okay. But your girl might be taking a little trip to Miami at the end of this year. If the people that I called to try to invite call me back, maybe they would want to go. But they haven't called me back. So, bitch might be going by herself. I don't know. What else? I really don't think there's anything else too much to talk about. Like I said, if you guys want me to react to other videos, or, you know, if you guys want me to play different video games, if you guys want to play online with me, let me know. Hit me up. I'm here. My Instagram is genesisxo.8. And I hope you guys did enjoy this video. It's crazy because Drake Bell has already came out. Matthew Underwood, which was Chris Massey's co-star on Zoe 101. He also came out with his story as well. And the fact that Chris Massey and, of course, Miss Raven Symone, that's 4 people already that have spoken on this topic and have, you know, exposed some things. So I hope more comes out, and I hope these people get their justice, and I hope the right thing is actually done, because I know I would do the right thing. Shoot, what would Jesus do? Anyways, guys, I hope you guys liked the video, enjoyed whatever, this and that. Like, share, subscribe, you know, do what y'all do, run it up. And yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video. Peace.